Martin, you haven't pulled your punches, have you? This is not looking pretty.
No, this is a catastrophic situation of the like we have never seen before on energy prices. Wholesale prices, gas prices, the price energy firms pay are 6 times higher than they were around a year ago. I mean, that is just an unprecedented rise. And what we have to remember is that in the UK, we are reliant for much of our energy supply on gas-powered electricity too. So that means it's factored into electricity. Now, some of this is a problem of worldwide wholesale markets. That's the underlying issue. It's right across the world. Gas is a problem. But there are specific factors that mean it is far worse and far more expensive in the UK right now. And the way we've structured our consumer energy market, which is my specialty, means we're in a very, very weird space. And the decisions are perverse compared to the decisions you would normally have to make.
I know you've been warning about it for some time, as your many fans would.
Since last May, I believe.
Yeah, there you go.
Since last May. Since last May was the first time. And then in June, I questioned the energy minister about it when I was presenting Good Morning Britain, and she said, people need to switch. And I think my reply was, I'm aware of that because I think you'll find your own data that you've published says more people switch because of me than anybody else, but that isn't going to fix it this time. What are you going to do? To which I got... So there we go. Yes, this is totally unforeseen, James. Yes. Totally unforeseen. No one saw it coming.
I'll tell you what, it's a miracle our LSE University Challenge team didn't win, given that we're both so confident of our knowledge. But you, I think, with more justification.
We were up against academics.
Stop it now.
We were up against politicians.
Not now.
We're against politicians. We would have smashed them.
Let it go. I have.
It's hierarchy, James. It's hierarchy.
You're in that strange position yourself now of not advising people on saving money, but advising people on minimising losses, as it were, giving them the advice that will, because everyone is going to be hit by this. You're just giving advice that helps you get hit a little less hard, but it's going to be hard for everyone.
We are in damage limitation time. I mean, let's just put this in perspective. You're pretty much in one of two places. Either you're on a cheap fix right now, which if you are, fantastic, stay on it as long as you possibly can. 3 situations, I should say. Or you're on a cheap fix that is about to end, in which case, just to give you the gobsmacking fact, the cheapest deals available now, today, are 50% higher than the cheapest deals available a year ago. So if you are on a fix where you're paying around £1,000 a year right now, if you wanted to fix again, you'd have to pay £1,500 a year, which is just an enormous amount of money. The other alternative is you're on the price cap, which is what just over half of homes are, those people who either haven't switched or you've come off a fixed or cheap deal and haven't switched again since that point. Now, the price cap for standard tariffs right now is £1,130 for typical use. Very important, the price cap is completely misnamed. They shouldn't have called it a price cap, because it isn't a price cap, but there's lots of shouldn'ts in energy. The reason it isn't a price cap is because there's no cap on prices, there's a cap on the rate that you pay. So when I quote the price cap, I'm quoting for someone on typical use. If you use more, your price cap's higher. If you use less, your price cap is lower. But on typical use, the price cap's £1,133 a year. On the 1st of October, that will go up to £1,277, which is a 12% hike, 13% on prepay. But this is what you need to understand, and this is what the Secretary of State for Energy didn't understand when I got Good Morning Britain to put a question to him after interviewing me this morning, and literally got it wrong on air. But anyway, so let's just explain this. The price cap that comes on the 1st of October is dictated by average wholesale prices in the 6-month run-up to the end of July. So the price cap we're moving to, there is a time lag, is not based on current prices, it's based on past prices. The 1st of April next year, 2022, the price cap will change again because it's 6 monthly. That price cap is based on prices from the start of August until the end of January. Right. So we are in that price cap period right now, 2 months in. Based on the first 2 months, and it doesn't look like wholesale prices will drop in the next month or two, they might after that, the price cap on the 1st of April will be £1,455. So up another £200 after the rise that we're facing already. That is an unprecedented rise. It's outrageous. I hope it won't happen. But it's why when the minister in response to this said no one knows what the prices will be on the 1st of August,
God.
I said yes, but that's totally irrelevant because the price cap depends on prices from August from
Yes.
on the 1st of April. He said nobody knows what the price will be on the 1st of April. Irrelevant because the price cap is based on the prices now, not on the prices on the 1st of April. So the reason this understanding what's happening to the price cap is important is when you make an energy decision, it tends to be for a year. So you've got to look at the price cap on the 1st of October, going up 12%, and the possible price cap on the 1st of April, going up another 20%. Your choice is, therefore, do I stick on the price cap, or do I get a fix when the cheapest fixes, there are still a couple of cheap ones available, but they're being pulled any minute, literally any minute. You need to go.
And the companies could go under, presumably.
Well, actually, the ones that have got the fixes are big fixes.
Are they going to be okay?
The ones that have got
all
the
right,
cheapest fix
but you'd have to move very quickly. Okay.
Really, really quickly. So your problem is, the price cap, bizarrely, I've always been, thought it was not the right system, but the price cap, bizarrely, is protective for the next 6 months and destructive for the 6 months after that because of the time lag.
Yeah.
So what you may want to do is go on the price cap for the next 6 months, see it as a cheap 6 month fix, cheap in inverted commas, nothing's cheap. See it as a cheap 6 month fix and cross your fingers that wholesale rates come down so you can get a cheap fix later. But if you're going, I need more certainty than that, then you might have to fix, even if it's at a higher rate than the price cap, in order to give yourself certainty. I never thought I'd be saying anything like this. I mean, it's just completely radical. One more note,
Please.
By the way, comparison sites. I just need to say, look, comparison sites make their money by being paid to switch people. Now, that includes money-saving experts.
Although what we have always done is we basically split it so we give you 25% cash back rather than doing what other providers do, which is they hide tariffs that don't pay them. So by default, you won't see those. I've always said we'll show all tariffs, but we'll give you some cash back, which pushes the ones that give us money higher up the table. So it's a win-win. But at the moment, virtually no companies are paying comparison sites to switch. So those that hide all that pay them have no tariffs, right? And they're having to be a bit more obvious now about saying, OK, click this button and you can see the whole of the market because they've got virtually no tariffs that are paying them. So be very careful when you use a comparison site. That's all the big names, all the ones people think of. I won't mention them, but you know they are.
Of course.
Or you've got My Cheap Energy Club, which by default is always whole of market. You always see all tariffs unless you choose to filter them out for service or things like that.
Okay.
So when you're doing a comparison, don't assume you're being shown the cheapest in the market, because the cheapest in the market are tariffs that don't pay comparison sites right now.
So, again, people need guidance. They need help. They also need reassurance. I sense you can't provide it because you're not a man given to hyperbole, but you have, I think, floated that heating or eating spectre in the last 20...
it's been slightly misquoted.
I thought it might
it's
have
somehow
been.
moved into what I said, that some may face the choice between heating and eating has become many will face the choice.
Okay.
It isn't many. But I think what we have to remember is we look at the situation for consumers right now. You have the universal credit uplift is about to be ended. Furlough support is about to be ended. Self-employment support is about to be ended. Inflation is on the up. And if you add energy prices to that, it is no exaggeration to say some people will be caught with a choice between heating and eating. Now, my advice to you, if you're worried about that, is speak to your energy company. Some of them do have funds that will be able to help you out. But I also think it is an important fact to raise, and the government needs to think about this. We have seen, I've just said, the cheapest deals are 50% more expensive than just 1 year ago. The warm home discount, which is supposed to support vulnerable people to pay their energy bills, that's what it's designed to do, is set at £140. And it has been £140 for 9 years. Contrast that to what I've just said, a 50% rise in just 1 year.
The
warm home discount is not fit for purpose anymore. It needs to be increased. It has to be increased to be able to support vulnerable people. The government has said it won't bail out the firms that are collapsing. I sort of understand that. That would just be giving money so that people be on artificially cheap tariffs. At least people be moved to the price cap. What it does need to do
is to put real money into protecting vulnerable customers, and I hope we will see that in the budget.
And you've answered my actual final question there, as characteristically before I'd even asked it. Martin Lewis from the Money Saving Expert, thank you so much. And I mean that even more than I usually do. The question would have been, what would you do if you were in charge? And that's why he's talking about protecting consumers as well as, or as opposed to, protecting companies. You can always find out more from his own website.